Great to say hello to everybody, even though I can't actually be doing it in the flesh. Not now, anyway, but I will be there with you in September because there's going to be 3 days during the Labour Party conference when socialists, people on the left, will be getting together to talk freely about the issues that concern us all. So we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. The impact of the last election on what is going on in the country, the lack of a proper opposition to the Tories, the suppression of free speech, both within the Labour Party and outside of the Labour Party, and of course the appalling performance of Keir Starmer and his shadow cabinet. And let me just say something about that. I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it, that Keir Starmer and his team, because we mustn't forget that this failure was a team effort, they can actually deliver one of the worst results on record. In fact, it's something that if Jeremy had brought in, there would have been howls of protest everywhere. He can do that. He can be the most unpopular leader across the country for some time. And yet what we see is the PLP pulling together underneath him, giving him support. And that support really is being echoed across the media. That is when you know what we're up against on the left. And that is how you know that we have got to be together and we've got to organise and resist. And we've got to resist inside the Labour Party and we've got to resist outside of the Labour Party. I was very proud to walk under the Jewish banners for the march to support the Palestinians. And what struck me then is really what has been very much in my mind in this last year, is that it's on the streets and it's outside of the Labour Party where much of the organisation and the resistance is coming on. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, there isn't a place for resistance within the Labour Party. There is. It needs to be outside the Labour Party. It needs to be inside the Labour Party. And what better time to do it than when they're having their little club meeting in Brighton this year. So what I'm asking you is to come along. We've got a great timetable of speakers. Come along to the Zoom meetings. You're going to be able to see people speaking freely about what's going on. Come along, join us, come and resist and support the real work of being the opposition to what's happening in this country. Okay, so let's just have a look at what we're going to be doing in a bit more detail. Well, we've divided the sessions into what we're calling 6 strands of interest. There's going to be issues, yes, about free speech, yes, about the Labour Party purge of left-wingers and socialists and people who actually want to be able to say what they feel. Yes, we're going to have a strand on human rights and on Palestine. We're also going to be having a strand which is going to be looking at what socialist policies should be and how we can be organising towards it. And very importantly, and we shouldn't forget this, and this very much has been in my mind in this last week, coming from that march of 150,000 people protesting against what Israel is doing in Gaza. There also has to be a celebration. There has to be a sense of unification through the empowerment, which celebrating who we are. Let's not forget that, because what the media keeps on trying to tell us is what we are. We know who we are and we can celebrate it because we can hold our heads up high. And so one of the great sessions, and we're really busy planning on this at the moment, and I think it's going to be great, is a kind of end of Resist Festival party. So I hope those of you are coming to the Labour Party conference, or who are in Brighton in any case, or who can get there, will join us for that. This is going to be the place to be. If it's anything like the last Resistance festival was, it's going to be pretty packed and very popular. And remember, if you are actually going to the official Labour Party conference, you can still come along and party and be a party with us. Thank you.